السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I welcome you all to an explainer video about the 10 forms of Arabic, uh, language. These are the 10 forms which are very important for you to understand. But remember, in the beginning, this might be very daunting, right? Because you want to learn all of them together, it becomes very difficult, right? I remember watching a video like few years back, and I was like, I'll never be able to learn all of these things. But with time, inshallah ta'ala, you learn form one, and then you learn all of these things from form one, and then form two, three. You take one form at a time. So will this video explain everything? Not at all, right? In a short video, or even in half an hour or 40 minutes, it's I mean, there's a lot of information. It's very difficult for you to actually understand all of these things. But yes, inshallah, if you want an intro or to all the 10 forms, inshallah, there are various videos out there. Inshallah, this video also might help you to actually understand the root letters. So because we don't have root letters as such in Arabic, in English, so it might be a little difficult for you to understand what is this root letter stuff going on. And inshallah, I'll just try to explain this table and all the 10 forms, inshallah. So what you should do is you should not take this video in one time. If you understand one form, then take a gap and come back to the second form, later on, right? I'll explain one form after another, inshallah ta'ala, form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all right? Inshallah ta'ala. And what's this table? Any table, if you just Google 10 forms in Arabic, you'll get many tables like this. I just chose one. It's most of them are similar, inshallah ta'ala. So this is the الأوزان العشرة للفعل العربي الثلاثي, the 10 forms of the فعل العشر الثلاثي. Many classical books or many books, they call these forms with their names. So any verb will be like a masdar, right? This is the masdar, the noun from it, or the noun from which the verbs are derived. So they call form 2, for example, they call it bab taf'il. They call bab mufa'ala for form 3, or bab fi'al. And then if'al, tafa'ul, infi'al. They call these names, right? But I found, and that's how we learn, through numbers, inshallah. This is what we've learned. And it's fine. Whichever way you learn, through names or numbers, it is totally fine, inshallah ta'ala. Now, if you want perfect understanding, or a good understanding, you should obviously do a book, which is Medina books. And the beauty of Medina books is in book 3, he brings all these from starting from form 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each lesson, one lesson each. So that helps you to actually understand one after another. Many of the videos or many of the classes, what they do is, learn all of them, just memorize. How can we memorize? Especially at this age, memorization should not be it's very difficult. So take one form at a time, and inshallah, you get an introduction about what these forms are, and how do they work and why do they use and stuff. So let's start with form 1, which is the base form. And this is the form through which we create all the 10 forms, right? This is the base form. So let's zoom in. Okay, to form 1. So what is this table about? The meaning, use, and relationship. Al-ma'na wal-istimal wal-alaqa. Okay, he'll explain the meaning here. So this is regular. Regular means this is the basic form. Basic form. And measures, wazn. This is form 1. And this is perfect. Madi. So this is the active voice. I would always, not always, but here I would recommend that you should not focus too much on the passive. Right? Passives are something which come later on, and don't try to understand everything, but I'll try to explain, inshallah ta'ala, this table as much as possible. This is passive, and these 3 things also are not that important, which you can learn. It's just one in formula. You can learn the ismu fa'il, ismu maf'ul, zaman, but I'll explain, inshallah. And most of the things you have to focus on madi, mudari, right? Maybe amr also, but there's a rule for that also. So many of the time you just have to memorize madi and mudari. Passive, there's a rule for that. Masdars, yes, you have to memorize. Any new verb, you have to memorize a noun for it, because there's no rule for form 1. Form 2 and all, there's a rule. And this, there's a rule, fixed rule for that. So what is this root letter stuff going on? Root letter stuff is like, because it's standard, no? So what they did was, they put a scale for it. For example, you take a verb, nasara. Nasara. So Arabic verbs are generally, form 1s are three letters. So it's called triliteral, sulathi. Triliteral means 3 letters. So we call noon as the fa kalima. Fa, and then ain is the second letter, and the lam is called the third letter. So fa represents the first letter, ain represents the second letter, and lam represents the third letter. By the way, this video might be a little long, because I might go a little over explanation mode or something. But yeah, so fa, a, and la. Correct? So you want to say Nasara scale or Nasara's measure. Okay, what's the first letter? Fatha. What's the second letter? Sad. Okay, Ain, Fa, A, La. Right? It has a Fatha. So this pattern is called Fa'ala pattern. So any verb which falls on this pattern is Fa'ala, like Fataha, Nasara, and others. Others. Like Fa'ala itself is Fa'ala with Fatha. Same thing for Mudare. Mudare means present tense. Like you see here, Yaf'alu. Yafalu. So all this, if you don't understand Mudare and all that, you should do Madina book 2, where we learn all the 3 letter verbs. We learn form 1 in Madina book 2. And, I'm not going to teach the conjugation and all that, because this video is not about that. We need another video where we learn the conjugation. But Yafalu is the pattern for Fa'ala. So you want to make, so Nasara is Nasara with the Fatha, all of the Fatha, and it is Yansuru. Yansur. You might be like, what? You just said Yafalu, Ain should have a Fatha. So Ain letter could have anything. And that's what he wants to explain here. Like here in form 1. We're just talking about form 1, right? Form 1, it is Fa, Ain. Ain could be anything. Ain means what? Middle letter. Middle letter could be anything. It could be a Fatha, Dhamma, or a Kasra. So it could come Fa'ila, like Samya. How do we know which one is which? We have to go back to the dictionary. We cannot guess this. Right? It could be any of the categories, and there are 6 categories, 6 abwab they call it. 6 bab fataha, bab samia, bab la, like samia yasma'u is kasra to fatha, fataha yaftahu, and then nasara yansuru. They categorize in these examples, like fataha, daraba, nasara, samia. These 4 are important. There's hasiba also and karuma, which are not that important. So like the combinations, if you want to write it down, so you should take notes for this video, because there's a lot of things happening. But anyways, if you're just using it as a supplement, then you need not. If you're doing Madina books and all that, then it's fine. So this Dhamma combination is called Bab Nasara. And it could be a combination of Fatha plus Kasra, right? Bab Daraba, it is called Fatha plus Fatha. And so it could be, this is actually Fatha plus Dhamma. Fatha plus Dhamma, Bab Nasara. Fatha plus Kasra, then Fatha plus. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Ain Kalima. The middle letter combination. The middle letter could be a Fatha. The middle letter could be a Dhamma. Like for example, Nasara. How does it become in present tense? It becomes Yansuru. Right? Daraba. How does it become the present tense? Yadribu. Fataha, Yaftahu. Correct? And the other is what? Kasra, Samya, Yasma. So Kasra changes into a Fatha. And the last 2 which are not common are Kasra to Kasra, Fatha to Fatha. But these are the most common. Fatha to Dhamma, Fatha to Kasra. So Fatha to Dhamma is called Bab Nasara, Nasara Yansuru. Fatha to Kasra is called Bab Daraba, Daraba Yadribu. And Fatha to Fatha is called Bab Fataha, Fataha Yaftahu. Notice I'm giving. How do you know? You just have to memorize. You cannot guess as such. But except Bab Fataha maybe. Fataha and Samia, you can guess. Because Fataha, generally a throat letter comes in the second or the last. Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain, Kha. Throat letter comes, so generally easier to pronounce. Fataha, it's as a Ha. So you can guess, okay, it's Fatha itself, because it's easier. Yaftihu or Yaftuhu is so difficult to pronounce, generally, or more difficult to pronounce than Yaftahu. And Kasra also, anytime you see a Kasra in the past tense, it becomes Fatha, this thing. So this is what, and Dhamma, Kasra is Right? If you don't understand all of this, you should do Madina book too, because it's too, you need to go slowly, gradually, gradually. But ultimately, we're talking about what the uh, harakat will be of the middle letter, because the first letter and the last letter will be remain fatha fatha itself. The problem is with this guy; they keep changing all these things. Correct? So you need to understand this. So it becomes yafalu or yafulu or yafilu. How do you know? You have to check the dictionary. This is form 1. Amr, Amr for form 1 will be done by chopping this. I mean, you do it for anta, tafalu. By the way, this has 14 conjugation. This also has 14 conjugation. No? I go, I went, faal to, faal na. We are not going into that. Right? Verb conjugation, we are not going to that because it's not just one, it's 14 here. Hmm? So I'm not going into that, but I'm just explaining the base forms. Base forms is what hua form. Hua, he. So fa'ala means he did. Samya, he heard. Yafalu, he does. Or he's listening. Yasma'u. Like that. This is called base form, the hua form. That means he, because Arabs don't start with I. This, I mean, they could start, but they generally start with he did, he, they both did, they all did. Hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. The pronouns start, if you know. And like that. This is what it is. Now, this amr, you take antas form, that is tafalu, you are doing. Like, if you don't know how to conjugate, you add a ta and becomes tafalu. And we look at the middle letter again. If the middle letter has a fatha or a kasra, the amr, the command will take a kasra. Right? That's the rule. If it has a dhamma, so if I put a different color, if it has a dhamma, it will be dhamma. Right? Okay. So fatha to dhamma, fatha or kasra, it will be kasra. For example, yasma'u. So how do you say listen? You say isma. It gets a kasra. Isma. Isma, hear. That means you hear. And that also has 6 conjugations here. It has 6 conjugations, but don't worry about it. And that comes in verb conjugation. You do lesson 13, 14, 14, 15 also in Madina book 2. 13, 14, 15, I believe. So if it is fatha or kasra, it will be kasra. But if it's dhamma, it will be dhamma. Uf'ul, like nasara, yansuru. Okay, you'll be like yansuru or Saad has a dhamma. So if you bring an alif, it will become unsur. Unsur, help. Okay, this is amr. Then past, passive, as I said, don't focus on it now, but I'm going to explain. Passive for Madi, how do you do? You'll give a dhamma to the first letter. Like passive means what? It was done. We don't know who did it, or even if you know, we want to hide it. Like qatala is to he killed, right? He. But kutila means he was killed. Like somebody killed him. Right? He was killed. We don't know who killed. So generally the combination will be dhamma plus kasra. Which you will see later on also. It'll be dhamma plus kasra. Second last letter gets a kasra. I mean, second last, there are only 3 here. So the second one gets a kasra here. But for others, we'll remember that like second last here, see, it gets a kasra. So if you remember, second last gets a kasra. So dhamma plus kasra will make it passive. And this is fa'ala. This is fu'ila. Fu'ila. And this dhamma plus fatha is the combination. You see dhamma here. That yunsar, he is being helped. But don't focus so much on passive. It's not, I mean, you'll understand later on. Because first you have to practice the active, that is fail mabni il ma'loom, it's called. So don't focus, oh, I want to memorize everything. Don't do that. And then masdars, anyways, for form 1, there's no fixed rule. I mean, some people made a table in classical books, oh, this pattern, this, but ultimately it's easier to just memorize, right? Just memorize. Like fatah yaftahu, what is the act of opening? It's called jaran or masdar. It's called fathun. Khalas, you memorize fathun. Khalas, fathah is the act of opening. This you might not understand here because in English it might sound weird, but in Arabic it's masdar. Like your walking is slow, for example. That means your act of walking, right? So ing nouns, it's a noun. Masdars will have tanween. It's a noun. So your ing noun, your walking is slow, or your reading speed is very slow. So qira'atuka. Qira'a is a masdar. It's not a verb. Verb means it should have tense also. Is it past? Is it present? It's your reading, your act of reading. Right? It's not past. Like qara'a, yaqra'u. It's bab fataha, by the way. So qara'a, yaqra'u, and the masdar is qira'atun. So your act of reading is slow. Right? Qira'atuka batiyun or batiyatun or something like that. So You just have to memorize master for form 1. We are still talking about form 1. We didn't go into form 2. What is called active participle or the doer or this thing? How do you, these are nouns, huh, by the way. How do you create the noun from that? So you take qatala and you create qatilun. You add an alif to the root letter. So qatil is the killer. Like in English, we had ER, no, for some time. Right to write, writer, reader. No, not all the time, but in Arabic, generally, ismul file. It's called ismul file, a noun, which is the doer noun. Like he's the doer. He's the killer, right? It's on the pattern fa'il. So you take the first letter, second letter, third letter. After that, you add an alif. You give a kasra to this. It's fa'il pattern. And then we call ismul maf'ul, which is the maqtul, on whom the action is being done, right? The killed, maqtul. Hamid was killed. Hamid is not the killer. He was the one who was killed. So we say maqtul, for example, or madrub. He was hit. Any verb, not any verb, but it should be a transitive verb where the act is transferred to others. Like happy, I'm happy. I went. There's no. It's not transitive, right? It's intransitive. It does not need an object. But eating, for example, you can ask the question what. That is separate topic, but only for some verbs, that is mutaaddi, that is transitive verb, where the act is transferring to others, there they'll have ismul maf'ul. So maf'ul. And then now the place and time is on the pattern of maf'al. For example, kataba is to write, right? So katibun will be the writer, maktubun is the thing being written, and maktab, the table, which we use as maktab, it is the place, and it's on the pattern maf'al or maf'il. How do you know which one is it? Again, you have to memorize this because sometimes they don't follow, but there's a rule. Like if it's fatha already, they give a fatha, and a fatha or a dhamma in the present tense, they give a fatha. Right? There's a rule for that, but generally you get used to it. Like sajada yasjudu, it should have been masjid, but that's an exception. It is masjid, which is place of prostrating. So, all right, I try to explain. This is form 1. Right? If you take a break now, if it's a lot. And so what we do, to summarize, what did we learn? We learned that ain kalima will have a fatha, dhamma, kasra, and then ain also here. This thing, it could be anything. The ya is a sign of mudare, yafalu. The root letters are actually fa, ain, lam. So if you, for example, if you see yansuru, what is the root letter? It's noon, sad, and ra, right? Nothing else. And then ifal also. So fa, ain, lam, anytime you see, those are the root letters. So you made passive by giving dhamma kasra, you made passive present tense, dhamma fatha. The nouns, masdar, you have to memorize. Fa'il maf'ul is always on this pattern. So you just understand ismul fa'il is on fa'il pattern. It's in the name. Maf'ul is also maf'ul, and this is the place or time. Like maw'id, for example. By the way, this is not just a simple story. The story, the thing changes when weak verbs come. Like fa is a wow, right? There are some other rules. It's called mithal, ajwab, naqis. Book 2, last from lesson 25, 26 onwards, you learn all that. So it's not like the conjugation changes a little bit. So fa'ala, it changes. Inshallah, at the end of the video, I'll share a link for the intermediate verb conjugation. I'll explain how to use that, inshallah, at the end of the video, where you can practice the conjugations also. Everything is written. It's like a conjugation dictionary. Mu'jam al-Wasit fi tasrif al-af'al, it's called. Intermediate dictionary. You can just Google it, you'll find. But I'll share a link, inshallah, on the Telegram channel, because the other links that people are removing and they're becoming dead. Inshallah, Telegram, we hope that it doesn't become dead. The links work even after 5 years, inshallah. All right, let's come to form 2. I took 20 minutes for form 2. I mean form 1, but I'll not take the same thing. Now he's explaining causative, intensive, or denominative. What does it mean? Causative means this is just a way. Don't go into this. But generally, if you want to understand, it shows cause. Like something happened because of something else. So use this form. Or intensive, it could be showing intense. Like kasara is to cut. So you want to show kasara, cut off. You cut everything small pieces, right? So intensive. Or denominative also, it shows something, I don't know. I don't know denominator. What does it mean? But whatever it is, you should remember the golden rule. These are not 100% rules. Okay, I want to make a causative rule and this, that. No. Any meaning from form 2 onwards, you have to check in the dictionary. Because many times you'll say, oh, I create a verb like this, right? And like a reciprocal, for example, I want to create, but you check the dictionary, it's not used. So you have to check the dictionary for the meanings. This is just reflexive and all that. This is just a 50 or 60% rule. Because there are too many exceptions, right? Okay, qatala, for example, to kill, but he massacred everyone. So why do they use form 2? One of the reasons is to show massacring. Instead of qatala, that's like a simple verb, they use qatala. So what they're doing here, if you notice here, in form 2, they're taking the ain kalima and doubling it. Like, for example, you have qa, ta, and lam. So they're doubling it and using 2 tas. Because tajdeed means what? If you use a tajdeed, that means 2 tas. Right? So it's actually qa, ta, and qa, ta, ta, lam. Lam. Right? This is what actually it is. So this is called tad'if, doubling. You're doubling, right? So ain, because it's a problem child, we have now double problem child, double twins now. Right? Middle children are problem. Alhamdulillah, my middle child is not a problem. But it's there everywhere. Middle child is generally the first and the third. They have similarities, no? The middle child, they're totally different from the first child. If the first child is naughty, this middle child is very sincere. If the first child is sincere, the middle child is naughty. Right? So the middle child here, they're double now, right? They're double now. So ta. This is called form 2, or its name is bab taf'il. Okay. So how do you understand this? You see this like this. Darasa, for example. Darasa is to study. Darasa. So if you want to conjugate form 1, it will be darasa yadrusu. This is form 1. But form 2, he taught. Darasa. And remember now a rule. Whenever you have 4 letters, dal, ra, ra, sin, correct? Dal, ra, ra, sin, you have to have a dhamma on the, it's 4 letters, no? Dal, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll give a dhamma to the ya. It'll become yudarrisu. Yudarrisu. It has a kasra, by the way. Kasra doesn't show up in Zoom. By the way, I'm using Zoom, by the way. Some people ask, how are you able to write on the PDF and all that? It's Zoom. Zoom annotation is very good. I've tried using others. I don't know if anything else works, like Easy Pen and all that. You have to share the whole screen, and then sometimes the window splits. You change the window, but I'm just sharing a window so that the other monitor I can use something else like that. So darrasa, yudarrisu. Yudarrisu. It has a kasra. This is a kasra, by the way. My mouse. Yudarrisu. I should have a writing board, but anyways. So it'll have a kasra all the time. So now khalas. Any form 2 you do, you see, it's always on this pattern. There's no like combination and all that. Oh, it'll be a dhamma, kasra, fatha. Nothing. It's always fatha, kasra. Ain will have fatha, kasra. Sallama, to say salam, for example. Sallama, yusallimu. Khalas. And you conjugate like that, 14 conjugate. Sallam to, I said salam. Sallam to alayka. I said salam to you. Yusallimu. This is form 2. Sallama, yusallimu. Or qattala, massacred. Qattala. And the amr is a little different here. You just chop this off. You just chop this off and it gets a sukoon. Here also we are giving a sukoon, by the way, no? If'al. You just chop this off. There's no need to bring a hamza here. It'll just be like that. Fa'il. Qattil. Massacre. Don't massacre, but just saying. Darris, teach. Darris, ya Hamid. Yeah, teach or Hamid, like that. Darris. So fa'ala, yufa'ilu. This is just chopping and giving sukoon. So darris. And the passive is very simple. Give dhamma kasra fu'ila. Same thing, no? Dhamma fu'ila. And this will be dhamma fatha yufa'alu. So how many letters are there? The 4 letters. That's why it's called, mazid fihi biharf. Mazid fihi means what? You added in it. Mujarrad means 3 letters. There's nothing added. Mazid fihi biharf. You are adding 1 letter only. What is that 1 letter? The ain here. The ain is being added here. So this becomes fu'ila yufa'alu. You see dhamma and fatha. Here it was dhamma fatha, same thing, no? Once you get a hang of it, it's the same patterns. And this masdar is actually bab taf'il, but sometimes it could be taf'ila also. It can have a ta, it could be female also. So this is taf'il. Ismul fa'il, one rule for all of them. Right? Yufa'ilu, change, this is yufa'ilu. No? Change the mudara you to mu. Mufa'il. Mufa'il, change you to mu. That's it. You will become mu everywhere, here. It's all mu. And you'll have a kasra in ismul fa'il. So mu plus kasra. Kasra to the ain. So darrasa yudarrisu, to teach, for example. It becomes mudarrisun, teacher. And this will be mudarrasun. It's not used, maybe a student or what the thing being taught. Like muallam, for example. Muallam, taught. Muallam. Dhamma plus fatha, that means the one being taught. And then mufa'al, same, this and this also, buy one, get one free. There's no need to learn ismul zaman or makan also. Same as ismul maf'ul from form 2 onwards. So this is also same. Actually, you get all the three. Only difference here is kasra will become fatha. So that's it. This is form 2. Ain letter is double. Okay. So try to stop now. Take form 1, take form 2, write it down. So that, okay, you're clear. Ain double. Because what happens is you throw so many things in your brain and you'll be confused. What is form 2? What is form 3? What is form 4? Take a break. Come back to form 3 now. So form 3, reciprocal means what? Generally, not, you have to see the dictionary again. Form 3. Generally, you have to go back to the dictionary. So in form 3, reciprocal means what? For example, qatala. Qatala means we need two people to fight. Qatala is to kill. Qatala is to fight. So you have Mr. A, Mr. B. They're fighting, we use qatala. So that's why we use form 3. So the alif is called musharaka or something. That means sharing. You need two people to ask or two people to do this. Qatala, form 3. And this also is 4 letters. So anytime it is 4 letters, you have to give a dhamma to the ya. So it becomes yufa'ilu. Fa'ala, yufa'ilu. It's over. Alhamdulillah. Yufa'ilu. Right? This is fa'ala, yufa'ilu. You. Why dhamma? It's 4 letters. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Khalas, yufa'ilu. Like qatala, he fought. So it'll be yuqatilu. He fights. And the amr is also same thing. Just chop this, give sukun. Chop this, give sukun. Qatil. Fight. Qatil. It's not kill. Huh? You get confused from qatala and qatala. But anyways, the problem here is in the passive, because this is an alif, if you give this a dhamma, right? We said dhamma and kasra, no? If you give this as a fua, you cannot really pronounce. So the alif, what they do is, in form 3, they'll change into a wow. So this is like a special case for form 3, or for the alif actually. Anytime you see an alif, you want to give a dhamma to the previous letter, you change it into wow. It's easier. So it becomes fu'ila. Laqutila. He was fought. And then this is same. You just give a fatha, dhamma plus fatha, no need to change here. So it'll become yufa'alu. He's being fought. And the bab is called bab mufa'ala. Bab fi'al. There are 2 masdars. Like here, this is not that common. These are both are common. If you want to remember an example, jahada, to strive. But you like, wait, jahada, you said, does it mean 2 people striving? No. That's why I said the rules are not, it's not reciprocal all the time. Jahada is just to strive. He strived. It doesn't mean 2 people strive. You mean, like, just now you said that. That is why this thing, no? It's not like 100%. It's like most of the time, you could say, or 60% of the time. Right? So 2 masdars for that is mujahada, to strive, and jihad. That is why for the meanings, the mistake people do is, I just know form 1, I'll guess all the meanings. No. Like sallama, for example. Sallama is to say salam, to send peace. Aslama is to accept Islam, form 4. And then tasallama is to receive. You'll be like, what? Receive? How does from peace it goes to receive? Because maybe they've received. Right? I made a video about Lane's lexicon, if you remember. Story of root letters. There could be a story, but we don't know the story. But they might have received something safely. Oh, I received. So they use tasallama. Tasallam to, right? Form 5. Okay. So this is form 3 we are talking about. So mufa'ala and fi'al. Mujahada and jihad is the master. And the doer will be what? Change you to mujahid. And this will be mujahad and mujahad. This also fatha fatha. Right? Once you can get a hang of it, that's why focus more on form 1 and form 2, and rest all will fall in the same place. Right? Except maybe alif changing into wow. Right? Everything will be the same thing. It's not like 80-20 concept. No, you learn 20%, everything is the same. 80% is the same. All right, form 4. Again, in the forms, I'll like 2, 3, 4 are important, and maybe form 5 is important, and form 10 is important. Rest all are not that important, not that common. So if you don't want to study, skip this, skip this. Oh, this is also important. Yeah, this is also very common, and this is also common. So 8, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 5 also, not that common. Maybe 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 8, 10, you could say. And then it comes 5. 5 is next on the number. Okay, let's come to form 4. This is adding a Hamza. And this Hamza is called Hamzatul Qata. It doesn't go away because in Amr it will come back. Huh? That's why I'm saying this Hamza doesn't go away in Amr. So Af'ala, like Aslama, he accepted Islam. And this becomes Yuslimu because it was dropped. Aslimu is, sounds weird. It becomes Yuf'ilu. Same thing, no? Yuf'ilu. 4 letters, that's why we are giving Dhamma here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Aslim. Aslim. Accept Islam. Akrim, honor, akrama, yukrimu. It's called Bab Ikram. And Masdar, passive is again Dhamma plus Kasra, Uf'ila, not for Aslama, something else you have to use for Ukrima, he was honored. And then Yukramu, Yufalu, Dhamma plus Fatha. And then it's called If'al. Only one Masdar. It's always the same. So Islam, for example, Aslama Hamidun. Hamid accepts Islam, he accepts Islam. And Islam is the noun from it. Islam, we accept Islam. And this is Muslim. The one who's accessed. So Muslim was formed like this. So once you understand, you see the beauty, no? Muslim came from where? It's the act, Ismul file. You change the U to the Mu, right? And then this become Muslim is not used. It might be used for Mukram, for example. This thing. And this is also Ismu Zaman is buy one, get one free. It's the same. Same. I hope I'm making sense, inshallah. Okay, this is form 4 with Hamza. Now, if you want to categorize this 2, 3, 4 is in one category. So you should understand them properly before moving next, right? To the next category, because we'll add now 2 letters. So form 5 is where we are adding two letters. But what is that? 2 plus ta. Simple. You take the form 2, add a ta to it. This ta is part of the verb now. Like ta'allama, to study. Allama is to teach, or alima is to know. So they use ta'allama to study. Ta'allamtul arabiyyata. So it's like a long verb. No, don't get, it's part. If you understand ta'allama, oh, what is the root letter? It's not ta. It is ain lam mim. So if you search in dictionary, ain lam mim, you'll find ta'allama also. All right. So ta'allama. It's called reflexive. Reflexive means what? Many times what they use, again, this is just a general rule. It's not all the time. Reflexive means what? I broke the door. Not the door. I broke the cup. Kub. Kasartul kuba. I broke the cup. It broke on its own. So I just want to say the cup broke. I don't want to say who broke, or it might be the wind or whatever. So I'll say takassaral kubu. Takassara. I won't use kassara. Kassaral kub means what? He broke the cup. But reflexive means what? It broke. So it's like passive kind of. It's like instead of using kussira al-kubu, I use takassara. So it's like action is ascribed to the object itself. So that's called reflex. It's reflecting or reflexive. Right? Takassara. So this is form 5. You just added ta. Now because it's 5 letters, see? Ta, fa, ain, ain, lam. Right? It's 5 letters. Khumasi. It's not called Khumasi, but 5 letters. So it'll give fatha. Yatafa'alu. It's always on the same pattern. So you just have to memorize. Like for example, I give an example. Tabassama. Yatabassamu. Right? To smile. You can understand through examples. Tabassama, yatabassamu, bab tabassum. Smiling. Tabassama. Tabassama Hamidun. Hamid smile. So yatabassamu. Yatafa'alu. And then tafa'al. And tafa'al is smile. Tabassam. Or ta'allam. Ta'allam al-Arabiya, for example. Ta'allam al-Arabiya. You just chop the ta, give sukun. Same rules from above. And then this dhamma plus kasra, second last letter gets a kasra to tufu. This also is a problem. Here, this will also get a dhamma. So there's a rule here. If the ta, if it starts with the ta, it gets a dhamma. The second letter also gets a dhamma because it's difficult to pronounce. No, tufa'ila, tufa'ila. So what they did, they gave you also take a dhamma. So it became a dhamma. Tufu'ila, tufu'ila. So that's why I said passives don't focus so much. This you'll be like, what is this happening? And this you'll give fatha, dhamma to fatha, dhamma fatha, same thing. Yutafa'alu, like takarrama, yutakarramu, honored. And then takarrum or ta'allum is the masdar. So this bab is also called bab tabassum or tafa'ul, ta'allum. And mutafa'il is the muta'allim, for example, the learner, muta'allam, the one, the thing being taught. And this is ismu zaman is the same. This is dhamma plus mu. You change the u to mu. Form 5. Form 6 is also reflexive of 3. So you say 3, add a ta. Same reflexive means what something happens on its own. Like tasa'ala. Like sa'ala is also same. Tasa'ala is also same. Why do you want to use so many words? The more the letters, the more meaning intensify also. And not every verb will have all the 10 forms. Like some verbs become famous. Like ghusl, for example. Ghusl is to take a bath. But they use form 1 to wash. So it'll be like what? Ghasala yaghsilu. Ghusl doesn't mean washing. It could mean washing. But ghusl in the fiqh and all that means to take a bath. So what they do, they use for... Actually, I took a bath. They use aghtasilu. They use form 8 for that. So it's all about what became famous. So don't go searching and memorizing all the 10 forms because it's not famous. Why would you want to learn? If you don't see it in a text or anywhere, there's no point. Same thing for wudu, for example. Wudu is like 3 letters. They've used the masdar wudu. But they use the form 5 for that. Tawadda'a. You'll be like, tawadda'a. Tawadda'atu. I did wudu. Tawadda'atu lil maghrib. Like that. So this is tawadda'a. Tafa'ala. Alright? Tafa'ala. Tafa'ul. Form 6. Same thing. Ta and alif. Like take form 3 and just add a ta. Same thing. Yatafa'alu. I'm not going into detail now because same rules apply. I'm just repeating. Tafa'al. Alif. This is Amr. Just chop this ya. So the alif will change into waw like we said here. Tufu'ila. Yutafa'alu. Yutasa'alu. Amma yatasa'alun. No? Tasa'ala, famous example. They're asking each other. Tafa'ul, tasa'ul. So ask each other. Look into the dictionary. Don't guess the meanings. Mutasa'il. Mutafa'il is the ismul fa'il. You take the u and change mu. Mutasa'al, and this is also mutasa'al. Form 7 is not that common, like you said. Form 6 and 7 are not that common. But 6 you can see at least. 7 also not that common. 6 and 7 similar, I believe. So in fa'ala. In fa'ala is form 7. Form 7, you added what? In the starter. And this is always, it's passive of 1, he say. That is from 1, you create passive. Right? Like in kasara al-kub, for example, you can use 1 and 7. Like the cup broke, in kasara you can use. It's just with more practice, you can understand the meaning. That's why look in the dictionary, it's easier. So this becomes in fa'ala, added in yan fa'ilu, same thing. And then in fa'il, there's no passive of it because it's always, it doesn't need an object. Right? It's always intransitive. It's always lazim, you can say. That means the action can never be transferred. It cannot be used for eating, hitting, and all those. No, it's just for like overturned, broke, like that. The cup broke, the door opened in Fatah al Babu. The door opened. That means there's no object. The object itself is in this, right? So reflexive kind of. And then infial, inqilab, for example, to change, inqilab, zindabad, no? Inqilab, right? To change, inqalab. And then this is munqalib. The one who's changed, there's no munqalab, there's not here. And this is also the places, this thing. And then same thing, you to move. Form 8 is a little tricky because very difficult to identify in the text. Because the ta sometimes changes to ta, sometimes changes to da or something. Right? There are rules for that. And the letters are not coming together. So what are you adding here? Form 8, alif and ta. Alif and ta be added. And ta sometimes changes to ta also, is tafa. And sometimes tell you the dal, iddakara. So the ta could be a little tricky to identify. But yeah, form 8 is the most trickiest of all if I wanted to say, right? Form 8. Ifta'ala. Because you're so ifta'ala, alif and ta, then it becomes yafta'ilu. It's always on the same pattern. So you have to memorize. Form 8 is equal to ifta'ala, yafta'ilu. Ifta'il is the amr. Oh, here the hamzas are required. Huh? Alif, hamza is required in fa'il, ifta'il. Because the fa has a sukun, no? So you need hamza to pronounce. And then this also, ta, both of them, here, both, I mean, fa already has a sukun, so we won't change that. The first and the third will get this thing, dhamma and kasra. Just a little rule. Here it was tufu. Here tufu. Here it is uftu. And then this tu in the form 10 also. And then yufta'alu, dhamma plus fatha. And this is ifta'al, like ijtihad, for example, to strive, ijtihada. This is also reflexive of one they are saying. But don't go into that. Don't go into that. Ijtihad, and this is mushtahid, the one who's hardworking, for example. Mushtahad, the thing. I don't know if it's used. You have to see the dictionary if it's used. And mushtahad is a place. Like many ifta'ala, ijtahada, iqtaraba, to be close. So qaruba is to become close, but you want to give emphasis. So you say iqtaraba, and you make it feminine. So iqtarabatis sa'atu. The R became close. Colors and defects is again very rare. Only used in colors and only like ihmarra. And defects like i'wajja, it became crooked. Right? Colors and defects. He became one eye, i'barra, like that. So very rare. Rarest of the rare is form 9. If Allah. Here what we are doing, we are adding an alif and doubling the lam. So first and last. First extra letter and doubling the lam. So yaf'allu, ihmarra, for example, it became red, for example. Ihmarrat wajhi, my face became red. Right? Something like that. Yahmaru. This is also not used. Amr is not used in form 9. Become red. You don't say that generally, no? Ihmarir, not used. But ihmirarun, the act of being red, and muhmar is used for both because it's like this. So the thing being red is muhmar, muf'al pattern, but very there. Even if you skip, it's not a problem. Then we have form 10, which is causative. Form 10 is the most easiest to identify because you see 3 letters, six letters now here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So alif sin ta is the most istaghfara. And generally it's causative also. It shows cause of something maybe, and reflexive also. Don't go into that like you said. Like istaghfara. It has a meaning of asking sometimes. Asking. There are books which tell you, oh, each forms means this and that. It's fine. It's fine. But as a beginner, if you see this, generally it's asking. Or, as a beginner, go into the dictionary, like I said. Istaghfara, form 10. Yastaghfiru, 6 letters. Yastaghfiru, istaghfir, ustughfira. That means alif and ta, you get a dhamma. And then you staghfaru, you give dhamma plus fatha. And then istighfar, istif'al pattern. Mustaghfir, the one mustaghfar, from one you're asking forgiveness. And then mustaghfar is the place. I've not spent that much time on all these forms, but I hope you get a pattern, inshallah. Inshallah. There's sighatul mubalagha also is given here. That means now what they'll do is this file thing, no? You want to say this guy is eater, like he eats everything, for example, from akala. So akil is the ismul file. So you use sighatul mubalagha, and this also you have to go to the dictionary. You can't guess many times. So akal is like too much. He eats akal or akul or akil. Akil is not used, I believe. But rahim, for example, rahim. So there are 5 patterns, most common ones. There are others also. Fa'al, fa'ul, fa'il, mif'al, fa'il. Hadir, for example, he's very cautious. So these are called sigha mubalagha, something exaggeration of the ismul fa'il, of the doer. He does it he does it. Ghafoor, for example. Allah forgives a lot. So Ghafoor, it should have been Ghafir, which Allah uses in the Ghafir al-Dhanb. But Ghafoor is like more exaggeration, mubalagha it is called. Right? And then future, you put seen or sawfa for present tense. Fail mudare, you make it future. And then ismul ala again is you have to memorize. This is for nouns of instrument. It comes in book 3. There's so many patterns for ismul ala. Like washing machine, for example. They use fa'ala. From ghasala, they'll make it ghassala. Washing machine. Or mif'al. Like key, fatah yaftahu, they use miftah. Mif'al pattern. And so you have to memorize them. You can't do. But generally it was all pattern mif'al, mif'ala. And then fa'al, fa'ala, fa'ul. If you want to memorize. that is fine. But you understand, right? And this is just the beginning. This is just the base forms. You have to understand the conjugations. You have to understand so many things in this. All right. I tried in 45 minutes. Oh, yeah. To just give an overview. But if you get the hang of it, it's easy. Inshallah. Just get an intro, pause, write it down, and take some examples. So I'll now show you some examples for that. First, we will go to the Quran. So this is corpus.quran.com, right? This is Corpus, which is a very good website, and I keep using this in all my videos and classes. So Corpus, what do you have to go? Corpus.quran.com. Go to Quran dictionary and go to I think. Oh, you can go here also first. If you go to Quran dictionary, you can see you can select root letters. For example, Adam. Adam is not a verb, so it's just a noun. So he just explained like proper noun Adam. So how many times it is used? He gives references from the Quran. So now you can go, for example, you see this root letter, no? Ba. Okay, you go, click go. Okay. Oh, this is also noun, abban. Okay, not a verb. All right, let's go to alif, ba, or hamza, you could call it done. This is also noun, abadan, forever. All right, I want some verb, please. Is this a verb? Oh, this is just fathers, forefathers. It's not a verb. It's just noun. So he says 64 times as a noun, 46 times as abun, and 7 times as abuan, abawani. Oh, this could be a verb. Yeah. Ata. This is an irregular one because it has a ya at the end. It has a ya at the end. So, anyways, but it tells you from one verb it has been used 264 times. So you can go here and see ata has come. See atau, its conjugation. Oh, fa'atu, this is amr. Ya'atikum. And then form 4 has been, the meaning changes. See, ata is to come. Ata is to give. So it has been used 271 times. So if you go down in the Quran, form 4, see, to give. To give. Rabbana atina. Right? To give. And then active participle means what? Ismul fa'il ati. Oh, the one who's giving. From ataya, the one who's coming. From atayati, the fa'il pattern. And ma'ati, passive participle, ismul maf'ul. Ita is the noun, verbal noun. See, masdar itaun. And active participle, from 4 active participle, that means if mufa'il. So mu'tuna, the plural has been used. They give. The same thing you can do for any other verb, like this thing. And for example, let's say jim balam, what is that? It's just a noun, there's no verb. Yeah, jabal, okay. Something like this, no. So these are all root letters to understand, no? Jurul, because not everything has been used in the Quran as a verb. Something could be like jadala, yeah, it should be a verb. So form 3 has been used. So if you remember the table, form 3 means adding an alif, jadala. Jadala, to argue, arguing, they are arguing, jadaltum. So you argue. So the root letter is jim dal lam. Right? So you can go and experiment here. This lemma frequency also, where it gives you like words according to frequency out of 3680, like starts with particles and all that. But there's morphological search also. You can go and search root letters, stem. Okay. You can go and search. But yeah, so this Quran dictionary is very beneficial for the Quran to actually see root letters in practice. So if you want to see the conjugations, I'll just share the conjugation dictionary. This is Al-Mu'jam al-Wasit fi Tasrif al-Af'al. This is the conjugation dictionary. I tried to make a playlist about it, but I never continued it. So you can watch that also. Few videos I've made there, verb conjugation. But this is Tasrif al-Af'al, right? So it gives you all the conjugations if you want to see its dictionary. For example, the verbs, all the 6 forms, like we talked about in the starting, Fatha becomes Dhamma, Fatha becomes Kasra, 6 forms here. And then Mazid, Sulathi. So the numbers here is how do I zoom in? Yeah. The numbers here, you should add 2 to it. It starts with 0. So 0 means 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is 11 and all that. So this is number 2 actually, because it starts from 0. He doesn't count this as form 1. So it's called Mazid Sulati. And then there's Rubai and Kumasi, which we've not explained. It's just 4 root letters. This is called Mazid Fi, means these are root letters plus extra. But these are all root letters. This is called Rubai. And then we have 3 Mazid Rubai. You have to go to lesson 27 of this thing, but we've not gone into that. Fa'alala. It has extra letter Tafa'alala and If'anlala and If'alalla. Like here, the root letters is Fa, Ain, Lam, Lam. Here, the extra is a Ta here. Ta and 4 root letters. Here, the extra is Alif and Noon. And then 4 root letters. So it's actually 6. And here it's Alif, Fa, Ain, Lam, and Lam double. So 2 extras. So 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Ifalalla. It has just 3 Mazid Fi. Here we have 9. Right? 9 which are including 1. So 10. But this is again not that common. This is form 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 here. 11 here. But there are more 2, 3 which are not that common. But the problem here is this is the story of these numbers, no? Again, this has classification actually. Salim has no root letters. Muda'af means it has no weak letters, sorry. Salim means no weak letters. Weak means Waw or Ya is not there in it. Or Hamza is not there. Hamza, Waw, Ya is called Salim. Muda'af means it has doubled like Hajja, for example. Hajja, Yahujju. So it has some special rules. Mahmuz al-Fa, Mahmuz al-Ain, Mahmuz al-Lam. These are all same. Mahmuz means Hamza comes like in the starting. Hamza comes in Ain, Hamza comes in the Lam thing. And then Mu'tal is there. Mu'tal means a weak verb. Weak verbs need to be studied separately. Then first letter is weak, second letter is weak, last letter is weak. Mu'tal, Fa, Ain and Lam. And then Lafif, Mafruq. Mafruq means they come separately, Waw and Ya, like Wana, Yani, and this comes together. Makrun means it comes together, like Waqa, Yaqi, or other verbs. I don't remember example, but we'll see below. So this is the table which he categorized all the verbs in the language. Again, you need not memorize all of these, but these are the numbers. All right. For example, you want to see something of Bab Nasara. This is what we call, no? You want to see some examples of Bab Nasara of Salim, of double, of Memuzfa. This doesn't occur. Of Lam with the Hamza in between, in the end. Then you want something which a weak verb in the starting. So you'll go into all 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 4, right? And then you want to go 1, 2, 0. 1, 2 means Fatha to Kasra. You can see these numbers. And you want to see 1, 3, 0. This is 3, 4, 1, 4, 0. He's given numbers like that. 1, 5, 0, 1. All this. So all zeros are Salim, for example. He gives numbers here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Because it could be anything. It could be weak letters, Hamza letters, Waw, Ya, Waw in the starting, Waw in the between, Hamza in the starting, Hamza in the between. Or they come together, they come separate. So just care about Salim as of now, right? And see all these examples. Again, don't see these two, like I said. These two are not that common. See only 4 here. Mujada Sulat. See this example, this one, 1, 1, 0, 1, 3, 0. And see the conjugation and try to conjugate on your own. Then Mazid Sulati, when you want to learn form 2, again go into this. Don't go into all this. Go into 200, 210, 220. Right? Go into all these and don't do this one. Because you don't want to, oh, how do I do? Because there's some rules you have to know for all this. Mahmuz, Fa, and Ain and all that. And there's also Rubai, also same thing, do only the first column. So you are concerned with the first column in the beginning. Because you need to learn separate rules for all this. Not for all of them, but for many. And he gives examples here, like which verbs are used. Like you want to see kataba, okay, go to 110, like that. So I'll just show you one example, or maybe. So it's like fa'ala yaf'ulu. He gives the scale 110. He gives an example here, 110. So how do you understand this table? This has a fatha, this has a dhamma. Okay, so kataba becomes yaktubu. Okay, fine. This is fail mujadad sulati. Okay. Waznu fa'ala yaf'ulu. All right, Sahih, Salim. So we call it Sahih because no this thing, and it's a Salim also. Because there's Sahih, which is a big category in which there could be something muda'af, doubled also. Sahih means not having Waw and Ya. Salim is not having Hamza. Not having Hamza or not having double. So Sahih Salim is like, doesn't have anything. So you go to the conjugation. So huwa, kataba, kataba, katabu, katabat. You can see all this conjugation which we've learned in book 1 and book 2 of Madina books. You can understand ghaib, third person, and then passive also, dhamma, kasra. You can actually practice. Then amr. And the mazdasi, katbun, kitabun, kitbatun, kitabatun. There's so many masdars. So every verb you have to memorize. Katabal kitaba, he's giving an example. Yuqalu khattahu, that means right. Ismul fa'il, the doer noun. Ismul maf'ul is the one who is being, it's done. Now muda'af means what? Double. I'll just show you form 2. I don't want to go into muda'af and all that. So form 2, 110, that was 210, no? If you go 110, sorry, here, 200, not 210. So you have to go to 200, the number here, 114. These are all the weak forms or Hamza forms or double forms. You want to go into 200, which is form 2. So anything which starts with 200 or starts with 2, this is all he's giving so many examples. You have to take, form 1 has so many examples and all that. No? Form 1 is the most important because 3 letters is the most common. So let's go down quickly. Oh, it's still 157. 200. Now we are in form 2. See, 200. Form 2 means what? Ain letter is double. So you see fa'ala. You can see fa'ala. Some examples you want to see. Qarrara. Qarrara. It's actually qarra. It becomes qarrara, to establish or something. So qarrara, qarrara, qarraru, qarrara. And you can see ismul maf'ul and all that. Its meaning. Masdar is only one. Like I said, taqreer, establishing something. So he says, qarrar shay'a fil makan, ay thabbatahu, establish something. Qarrar fulanan bidhamb, ay hamalahu. Someone is doing sinning. He's sinning. Somebody established on the truth. Qarrar or ammana. So form 2 is used. So form 2. Next, you can go to 300. This won't be much, I believe, because obviously this is mazid fihi. It's just one pattern. 218, you want to go? Oh, it's 210, sorry. No, just 10 more you have to add. Yeah, fa'ala, this is form 3. You need to add 10 more. 210, 220, 230, 240, 250 is all what we are concerned as of now. So alif becomes dhamma. So you can see the conjugation and try it out. And that's how you learn. But it's the boring way, no? So what I'll suggest, do Medina books and go gradually, intuitively, where you learn one form and then use it in sentences. That's helpful. Just sitting and memorizing. If you're in for it, you're in for it. But inshallah ta'ala, that's it. So I hope almost an hour, inshallah. I hope it's beneficial, inshallah. If you want to just break it down and don't watch everything on one go, inshallah. But anyways, you have to go back to the main lessons to actually understand everything. I try to simplify it, but how much ever I try to simplify, it's overload of information. And, if you're totally new, it will become very difficult. But we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us, all of us, inshallah. It's easy. It's just that you have to go slowly. You have to do it procedure-wise. You have to do it, intuitively, like learn one thing and then practice. That's what, because learning a language is not like learning rules. It's more like practicing. Like, I know everything about swimming, but if I don't step into the water, if I don't practice, I won't learn anything. I didn't actually learn swimming. I just learned how to swim. Theoretical, like, not actually practically sleeping. Jazakallahu Khairan. Barakallahu feekum. Subhanakallahumma hamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you inshallah.